Good, happy Wednesday morning, January 12, 2022. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Wednesday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Wednesday morning, so let's get started right now. First step, man arrested in connection with Antrim fire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Man facing a felony charge tonight in connection with an arson at the Maplehurst Inn in Antrim last month. The state fire marshal says 25-year-old Daniel Tebow of Antrim was arrested yesterday. He is free on personal recognizance bail.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. First district candidates campaign in current proposed districts. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Ware has existed in New Hampshire's 2nd Congressional District for years, but in 2022, it could be on the move. In the last election, almost 60% of the town's voters chose President Donald Trump. That solidly Republican margin would shift to the 1st Congressional District under the redrawn map passed last week by the New Hampshire House. Same goes for other traditionally Republican towns like Salem and Franklin. The new map isn't set in stone just yet, but 1st District candidates are already forging into this new territory.
In fact, I have an event in Franklin on Thursday evening that is hosted by some of my great supporters up there. I really look forward to it.
Campaigns are won and lost based on the allocation of time and resources. So with the district lines up in the air, candidates have to hedge their bets. Julian Aciard says he's made a connection with voters in the Mount Washington Valley, but any support he's won there could be moving to District 2.
They're hardcore conservatives up there. They like their peace. They like their quiet. But for me, it really doesn't change much of my strategy because I go all over the state anyways.
Social media and national politics have taken the edge off of some regional differences. Tim Baxter says this primary is about the message, not the map.
At the end of the day, I don't try to play games and think about how can I do this or do that. I just say this is who I am and these are my values.
When Congressman Chris Pappas launched his re-election campaign last year, he started out by visiting communities he could lose to redistricting, like Dover. No matter what the final map looks like, Republicans want to boot him out of office.
What I hear again and again and again is we have to fire Chris Pappas. We have to change the direction. And they're not happy with many of his votes, and neither am I.
Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Dangerously cold weather raises safety concerns in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Well, Tom, safety officials ask that everyone stay vigilant and periodically check on family members or neighbors who might be at risk. They also say you should really try to stay indoors if at all possible. But if you have to go out, then obviously dress appropriately. In extreme cold conditions, frostbite is always a concern, especially on exposed skin. Fire officials say it's a good idea to check your smoke detectors as well and carbon monoxide detectors, and be sure to heat your home safely. They also say fatality prevention among the homeless population is a focus in these conditions.
Avoid using any electrical extension cords, zip cords, use a proper safety provided heating source. So if that's a space heater, make sure it has a shutoff.
That is the goal of Hope for the Winter at the 12. The warming station is that we will be able to prevent Manchester from having any deaths among the unhoused population.
Now, Hope for New Hampshire Recovery has a warming station at 1269 Cafe on Union Street. It's open every night from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. straight through March. They say there were about 70 people there last night. Live in Manchester, Jason King, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. State files new charges against stepmother of missing girl. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
You booked a sunny Verbo ski chalet with endless views of snow-covered peaks.
These are the criminal complaints filed late this afternoon against 32-year-old Kayla Montgomery, alleging between November 30th, 2019 and June 2nd, 2021, Kayla fraudulently represented to DHHS that Harmony Montgomery was a member of her household. The purpose, prosecutors say, was to receive undeserved food stamp benefits in excess of $1,500. The police affidavit provides a timeline of Harmony's life in New Hampshire. On February 25th, 2019, Kayla allegedly filed a report with DHHS adding Harmony as a new household member. The affidavit states Adam Montgomery, Harmony's father, was granted full custody of her February 22nd, 2019, and that DHHS records show 800 EBT card transactions during that time period, and state that on 3 occasions in 2020, Kayla applied for SNAP benefits listing Harmony as a family member. In February 2021, Kayla stopped listing Harmony as a beneficiary for food assistance, and in June 2021 told a DHHS caseworker that Harmony had moved back with her mother and could be removed from the case. An arraignment and bail hearing for Kayla Montgomery are scheduled for Thursday at Superior Court. Anyone with information about where Harmony Montgomery is urged to contact that dedicated tip line. Again, that number 603-203-6060. The reward for information now up to $100,000.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Domestic Violence Task Force meets. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Well, Tom, this task force was created after a woman's case from this past November. She was shot allegedly by her ex-boyfriend a month after a judge denied her request for a longer-term protective order. A goal for today's virtual meeting discussing resources to better support victims throughout the legal process, including the general petition process and the training judges go through. Some in the meeting thought there's not consistent application of protocol, saying when the course of action works, it's successful. When it doesn't, there's a high risk for danger.
I think we have a good foundation. What we have does work in best case scenarios. It's more of an issue of how it's applied, how the process that is currently in place is applied, and that it's not applied consistently.
The task force says the course of action now is to update protocols. They say this process will likely be multidisciplinary. Live in the studio, Grace Feinerman, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Some wait 6 days or more for COVID-19 test results. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
What superhero are you?
Peacemaker.
There's no superhero called Peacemaker.
2 sisters got tested together at the state-run site in Nashua on December 31st, told to call after 72 hours if they hadn't gotten results.
The people on the phone were very nice. No point getting upset with them. They did end up telling me that that's just was the norm right now, that long wait.
Her sister needed results to return to work.
6 days for myself, 8 days for my sister.
A student who tested at the site in Newington last week needs results to return to college out of state. He canceled his Sunday flight and is still waiting. In a statement to News 9, DHHS says that in the last 5 weeks, the demand for testing has doubled at the state-run sites. But they are working with their contractor and lab to decrease the time to 48 hours by onboarding additional staff members, and that the state is constantly exploring all opportunities to expand testing. Meantime, there are other testing options.
I think it's 98% of the time over the last 2 weeks, I just checked, we are returning results within 24 hours of sampling.
Convenient MD benefits from having its own lab.
We have additional equipment coming, additional staff members being hired, and we are piloting currently a self-swab option for people so that we can increase the accessibility to testing.
Now, the difference at the state-run sites is that those are free, but most insurances do cover the cost of testing at other locations. Live in Portsmouth, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News Now.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. Overdoses in Manchester and Nashua increased 38% in 2021. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
The anxiety with mental illness much more so than they ever have been.
Chris Stawas, American Medical Response Regional Director, says the pandemic's taking a toll and challenging first responders like never before.
The overdose increase makes it even more difficult during a time period when we're challenged for staff. We're challenged for the amount of time it takes us to complete a call because of the PPE and the disinfection that we have to do.
In 2021, New Hampshire saw the most overdoses since 2018, but there is some good news.
We're actually going to see a decrease in the amount of deaths statewide over the previous year. That won't be the case in Nashua and Manchester.
AMR medics responded to 855 suspected opioid ODs in Nashua and Manchester. It's a 38% increase from 2020. Fentanyl is believed to be the cause of most of these ODs. Stawas says multiple patients report other drugs they were using, like marijuana, were laced.
Things that people would use on their own and not be opioid users.
Now, he shares this crisis has far-reaching effects beyond the workforce or the crime rate.
It's hard to find somebody who doesn't know someone who's been impacted by the opioid crisis in New Hampshire. Whether it's your loved one or a friend or somebody that you work with. So this is impacting everybody every day.
And if you or someone you know is struggling, you can call 211. You'll be referred to a treatment spot less than an hour away from anywhere in New Hampshire. Live in the studio, Grace Feinerman, WMUR News 9.
What in the hell do we sign up for?
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. And we are going to switch gears now, and let's go into weather. It is fair right now and -1 degree. Feels like -1 degree. Brr, cold out there this morning. Expect dry conditions for the next 6 hours. And also there are 2 closings and delays for today. If you want to see that list, just go to WMUR.com. With a full weather forecast, let's go to meteorologist Mike Haddad.
Everyone has mental health. Is yours keeping you from the life you want? Riverbend is here for you, providing mental health services for all needs and all ages. Specialized treatment delivered with compassion. Visit us at riverbendcmhc.org.
Thank you very much for joining us. Stormwatch 9 weather on the web. Weather to watch. This is what we're focusing in on between now and the early part of next week. More bitter cold tonight, many well below zero north, a bit below zero south through about midnight, 1, 2 a.m. And then the temperatures could actually rise a little bit as a warm front moves through by early Wednesday morning. Another shot of Arctic cold leading our weather headlines Friday night through Saturday night, early on Sunday morning. The next storm on the map that may impact New Hampshire with snow and or a wintry mix lines up here during the day on Monday. Still 6 days out and many days to track that. In the short term, all about the Arctic cold, well below zero north, a little bit below central, near zero south, and then temperatures actually rise a little bit by early in the morning. You'll notice satellite imagery. It's clear out there in central southern New Hampshire tonight. Clouds take over as we go into the early part of tomorrow morning. We'll start to see a few snow showers, mainly in the Great North Woods and the northern part of the White Mountains. Clouds, a bit of partial sun during the day on Thursday, and a chance of a flurry or two. Best chance far north. But the key here, the temperatures. They are climbing higher and will continue to drive above the average as we go into Thursday. Tomorrow, right near the norm, mid-20s north, upper 20s, lower 30s on south, and well into the 30s statewide during the day on Thursday. By the time we get into Friday and Friday night, Saturday night, early Sunday, here comes the next surge of some bitterly cold air. I do anticipate with that northwesterly wind to see the temperatures and wind chills bitterly cold. By the time we get into Monday, that's the next chance of storminess across the Granite State. So we're going to be watching out for that very closely in time. Here's a look at the next 7 days ahead, and what you're going to find is we do have the cold air giving way to more seasonable and tolerable conditions Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Windy and frigid again on Saturday, frigid early on Sunday morning, and then that chance of snow or wintry mix on Monday.
Okay, and there you go on that weather forecast from meteorologist Mike Haddad. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. I hope you all have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.